Let's quickly look at question A1. So, I want to encourage you to kind of get used to that the examiners like to make things funky. I don't care in this case whether repetition is allowed or not, because that's not even an option. Why? Because they give me a set of numbers. They don't tell me. The questions you guys are confusing this with is they tell you, you have 26 numbers, or you've got all the letters of the alphabet to choose from. You've got all the digits 0 to 9 to choose from. Now you've got to make a code. Those ones, it's important to know whether repetition is allowed or not. This one, they give me all the options I've got, so they give me a word. This is actually a word sum, like it would be traditionally in your class. That's why I'm throwing this one out, because it's weird. How many 8-digit numbers? Okay, so we know all of you got 8 factorial, great. Divided by, I've got 2 5s, no, 3 5s and 2 8s. And I think that answer is 3360. Okay. Easy claps. If you saw the trick. Now we get to number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. I want to quickly talk about 2 things. In probability, there's always 2 options for me. The one option is cement and the other one is boxes. If you watch my YouTube videos that's on the Junior Tukkie YouTube channel, you will hear me talking about boxes and cement. This is a cement type sum. Why? We talk about the first digit and we also talk about the last digit. So for me, this is a cement type sum because I've got 2 digits that are being placed inside cement. So in other words, I've got the first digit, the last digit that's being placed in cement. What is the probability that an 8-number digit created will be greater than 80 million? I just want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's only the first number. How many options, different options do I have that I could place in the first one? Just one. I could place an 8 there. If there was a 9 in my code, I could have placed a 9 there and it would have been a different story. So, and it must be divisible by 5. So that is why I put the last one in cement, because my only option is 5. How many different options do I have for that last digit? 1. I'm using the word different because later on, because some of you are falling asleep already, we're going to do a practical example of unique objects. I'm going to pick 5 random people and you're going to be my experiments, my candidates in the front here. Now, what are you left with? Okay, not just 6. What are you left with? So I've removed an 8. I've removed a 5. Now I'm left with 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm left with an 8 and an 8. I'm left with oh no, sorry, I'm lying. I'm left with an 8, a 5 and a 5. And then I'm left with a 3, a 7 and a 4. So now my question is, let me rather do it in a different color, my apologies. 8, 5, 5, 7, 3 and 4. So in how many ways can I rearrange that? 6 factorial over 2 factorial. Don't forget about this repetition. So in how many different ways can I rearrange all of this? 1 times 6 factorial over 2 factorial times by another 1. 6 factorial is 720, so this gives me 360. But that's not the question, please be careful. What is the question? Probability. So in other words, to convert this to a probability, 360 over 3360. Okay? Everyone alright with that? You can calculate that. You guys are clever enough to do it. Now we get to the next question. If a 9th numbered card is added to the above set of 8. Now we're starting to have fun. I love these questions. And your end answer is there are 15,120 unique 9-digit numbers. What number from 0 to 9 could be on this card? Okay? My question that I would ask you, how does this relate to what we've done so far? Well, I know that I've got 9 factorial at the top. That is a given. Again, ladies and gentlemen, now I want you to think clearly. What are my different options? Because I've got actually a number of them. What is 9 factorial? Let's quickly get that for me. Walter, do you have that answer for me?
I have the final answer. I don't have 9 factorial.
But what is 9 factorial? Quickly get that answer for me.
It's 362,880.
362,880. Now my question that I want to ask you, how does this relate to that? Quickly divide them. This divided by that. What answer do you get? What answer do you get? 24. So in other words, 9 factorial, so this divided by 24 must give me 15,120. Everyone's alright with that? Okay? Everyone alright with that? No. Guys? Let me ask. It's not, do you guys understand where this comes from? Taking this divided by that. Because I remember there are repetitions. And the repetitions are what I need to take out. So this divided by some repetitions will give me that answer. Because that's the answer they've got. Why am I doing this, ladies and gentlemen? Because I want to see is there a 3 or a 5 that they added? Because if there was a 3 or a 5 that they added, this at the bottom would become like, if they added another 5, this would have become 4 factorial. If they added another 8, this would have become 3 factorial. But what is 2 factorial times 3 factorial? Ooh. This gives me 12. So to get to this 24, what did they have to put in? Another repetition. So I would have to take this 3 factorial and 2 factorial, and I have to add another factorial at the bottom, which means what? Another one of the single digits now also had to be repeated. Because I've got to make it smaller by another 2. So now which single digits are my options? Either this extra card was a 3, a 7, or a 4. That's the only option I've got. Because it had to be another one that repeats itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do understand 100%. If you are looking at this and you are going, what? You guys have had a long day so far. I'm going to encourage you. I do these sums by literally playing around. There's no exact science in this. I start with what we were given. I look at if there's no repetitions, but then there are repetitions. So I look for this bottom. Then I start playing around with what I've got. How am I going to get to that answer? A sum like this in the exam, just between you and me, there'd be about 9 or 10 different ways of solving it. I'm not joking. Your examiners would have maybe 5 or 6, possibly up to 8 or 9 different options of how people would answer it. So I encourage you to take this home and play around with it. Find that thing for yourself. I call it the constructive struggle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, okay. I want to do one more example, and then we're just going to have a DMC after that. Okay. I want 2 males and 3 females to please come and join me on the stage quickly. Okay, my gent, come. Okay, yes, you come. These 2 are gents. Okay, 2 gents. I'll have you be in the back. Yeah, there we go. With a nice head. Come on. Yeah, you. Yes, you've got the nice flat top there. Okay, so now we're having 4 males. Okay. That's also right. You can come. Got 1 female. Give me another female. Ah, thank you so much. Come up. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Looking sharp. Okay. Dressed for success. Okay. Quickly write down for me, in how many different ways can I rearrange these 6 gentlemen? Come on, tell me quickly. 6 factorial. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay, so in how many ways can I rearrange these people? 6 factorial. So 720 different ways. Okay. Now, again, why do I not have to take out repetitions? None of them are the same. Okay? Now, question. The two girls are a little bit afraid of the gentleman. I don't know why. Strapping young lads like this, okay? So, in how many different ways can the ladies sit together? Quickly calculate that for me. Write it down. In how many ways can the ladies be grouped together? Okay, let's quickly go for this. Do you guys have the answer for me? I see how nice old guy there. I love it, you know. Going to space. What do you say, sir? Yeah.
I say 360.
360, and how did you get that? Okay. Yes? Say again? 240. Okay, 240. Let's quickly see if she's correct. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I like to call these, listen up, listen to the difference. I like to call that a box event. Why? Because I'm putting them in a box. So if I look at the box together with the other events, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that I can take you, swap around that way, there we go, anyway, you ladies, or you come into this way. So the box keeps moving with the other. That's why it's 5 factorial, but never ever forget how many different options are there inside the box. 2 factorial. So that's why it is 5 factorial times by 2 factorial. Okay, great. Now, let's quickly answer the next question. What's the probability that the boys and the girls are grouped together separately? Okay, quickly get an answer for me. You guys in the front here. So they're grouped together separately. So I've got the boys grouped together. I've got the ladies grouped together. In how many different ways? Okay, so who's your spokesperson?
The boys are going to move the box.
Yes.
And the girls are going to move the box.
Yes.
So in the boys there is 4 factorial.
Okay.
The girls there is 2 factorial.
Yes.
In total it's 2 factorial.
Ah, well done, my gent. Yes, you're on the spot now. So, I've got the boys sitting together, and inside there are 4 factorial. I've got the girls sitting together, 2 factorial, but these two can swap around, so this becomes 2 factorial. Okay. Now we're going to go old school style. Okay? Old school style. What will be the probability that I have a boy on either end, or on both ends, not either, it's okay, on both ends of the group? So the probability that I have a boy on both ends. Quickly, go for it. Be careful of factorial. Factorial is going to come and bite you in the bum if you're just going to go factorials. Be careful. Okay. Who's got a possible solution for me how I must do it? Yes. Red bat. 288. Who has the same answers? You all suck. No, I'm joking. How did you get to 288? And I think you got it 100% right. The question that I want to ask you is the following. Please listen to this. Is it a box event or cement? It is cement. It is a cement event. Why? Because I'm not going to move the first chair. That first chair, we're going to pick someone. We are going to put it, the last one, we're going to pick someone. Okay. So it is a cement event, so I'm going to do this. My first event and my last event. Now let's look. In the first chair, how many options are there for the boys? Then one of them goes and sits down there. The last one. Now I have 3 boys to choose from. Do I really care what's happening in the middle? No. So it's going to be 4 factorial. So that is why it is 288. Well done, you guys can go and have a seat. Thank you so much. Now, to close off probabilities, I want you to just remember something. If we ask you, for instance, let's say the boy and the girl had a big fight this morning. The boy said something like, "Did you forget to brush your hair this morning?" And then she spent an hour brushing her hair this morning. And now they do not want to sit together. And I ask you this question: what is the probability of them not sitting together? What can I say? Yes, sir. Well done. So I would then actually not look at them not sitting together. I would say 1 minus the probability of them sitting together. But now what if I ask you the number of ways they can sit together? Then I can't use 1 minus. So if I give you the number of ways that they are not going to sit together. Yes, Walter? Last chance for you. Let's get it right.
No, you'll first say so the total number of ways and then minus the total number of ways they can be sitting together.
There we go.
And obviously the other answer.
So if you are looking for the number of ways that they can't sit together, you must just simply find the total number of ways possible minus them sitting together. These formulas are not given on the formula sheet, and therefore they are going to be asked. I'm just warning you guys. They are going to be asked. Okay. Let me quickly get to my... There we go. Okay. Let me just try and get my screen working here. Don't know why it doesn't want to work. Technology. Oh, how we love and we hate you. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, you are right. If I didn't do it, I'm so sorry. Please remember to always answer the question, and I really appreciate it. If we ask you for a probability of something happening, please put it over the sample space. Please, please, please. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, you can sit up straight now, please. I'm asking you very nicely to not doze off now. We've got only 25 minutes left. Time flies when you're throwing watches. Really bad dad joke. You'll catch it in about 3 days. Okay. Can I have this one? Thank you. Okay. I want to talk to you guys this last 25 minutes about a very important life skill that is either going to help you or it's going to trip you up just before you achieve success. So make notes of these things so one day you can reflect on them when you are much more fresh and haven't done like 5.5 hours of lecturing. The first life lesson I'm going to teach you, you need to learn very quickly because I'm going to be building on it, okay? It's kind of me building an airplane while I'm flying. You have two choices in life. Either you are going to learn from other people's mistakes, or you are going to be the other people. Let that sink in. You are either going to learn from other people's mistakes, or you're going to be the one that makes the mistakes. So you're going to be the other people. So what I want to share with you guys today is my experience that I have gathered over more than 20 years of being in the teaching field, but also my own experience in writing exams. I do have a bit more experience than you. I completed my BSc, I completed my PGCE. I'm hoping to start my honours and my masters sometime soon. I just need to find the time and money. The first thing I want to share is there's always 3 phases in studying. And it's kind of the same with a lot of projects. The scary kind of thing is that you guys are basically at the end of phase 1 already of your matric journey, which is preparing for the exam. Every year I get countless students who come to me and say, "Sir, how do I get it right to not freak out in an exam? To not go blank?" How many of you have gone blank in an exam? I'm so glad it's not just me. The reality of this is, it starts in phase 1, preparation for your exam. How most of you prepare for exam is very faulty, unfortunately. I know because I've been a teacher for many years. The most important part of that phase is 2 things. Create an exam environment where you can study. Are you going to have your cell phone in the exam? So then your cell phone mustn't be with you when you prepare. Oh, all of my Instagram followers are not going to know I'm busy with maths. They'll survive. I promise you. They'll find someone else to follow. Oh, not that, sir. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, you need to find a space. I cannot tell you how to find a space because every single person is unique. It's a lot easier if you've got a big house and like every person is in its own corner, then it is in a shape. That's why I cannot tell you how to do it. But I am going to tell you, learn to be open and honest with your parents and your siblings. If you've got younger siblings, good luck. Okay. They don't want to leave you alone, especially when they know you want to be left alone. But ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn to sit on your bum for 3 hours straight and study. Why? Because you're going to be writing on that same bum for 3 hours straight, and you can't go and play outside for half an hour every hour, okay? So, I'm not talking about when you are just summarizing things. I'm talking when you're actually like practicing maths. Like when you say, okay, so I'm going to do this question paper. You need to train your body to get used to sitting for 3 hours. Yes, also you've got to train yourself how to take a break every hour without standing up. Activities like maybe closing your eye. Okay, wait, no, not now, because half of you are just going to like, okay. But close your eyes. Do box breathing. Box breathing is a beautiful way of calming yourself down, of relaxing. Literally, you can picture a box in your mind. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, keep, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, keep, 2, 3, 4, in, keep, 2, 3, 4, out. If you repeat that 6 or 7 or 8 times, what actually happens is amazing. Your mind actually resets itself. Your stress in your brain actually goes like a switch off and on. And the cortisol levels in your mind stabilizes and you de-stress. Beautiful activity. There's other activities as well. And you can do that in the exam. The second part of phase 1 is the one that you guys are going to hate the most. Especially when you start preparing. I'm talking about actually doing like past papers. Is have a watch, a timer on your table and work on 1 mark, 1 minute in maths. If a question is worth 20 marks, you give yourself 20 minutes and you move on. But I'm not done. The next time work faster. It sounds silly, guys, but if you look at the world's best athletes, let's take Usain Bolt. If you look how that guy practices, he doesn't, when he does the practice to go and prepare for the Olympics, he doesn't go, la, 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 la. Well, what does he do? He doesn't stand there for 5 hours in the mirror going, you know, wait at this side. No! He flippin' runs as if he is never going to run again. By the time he gets to the Olympics, that's why you can look at some of his most famous wins where for the last 5 meters he's already stretching out and all the other guys are catching up, but they'll never catch him up in 5 years. But it is because when he practices, he does it as if he's running a race. I laughed myself to pieces the other day. I love my rugby. So I was, Siya Kolisi is talking about one practice he had with Eben Etzebeth. Now if you know Eben Etzebeth, he's about that much taller than I am, about 40% bigger than I am, with very little fat. So he's a big boy. And Siya Kolisi says the one day he was scared out of his mind was on a practice session, and the coach said to them, go full out. And Eben was standing across from him, and he said Eben got that look in his eye, and the next moment Siya Kolisi was lying on his back. Eben Etzebeth was on top of him, and Cheslin Colby was standing behind him laughing himself to pieces. Because when those guys practice, they go full. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you need to do that yourself. When I prepared for my PGCE, when I would write as fast as this hand could write, as if I'm writing an exam. I would get a question and I would just write, man, flippin' ugly, as fast as I can. I know, ladies, it's not going to be nice, okay? It's all right. I literally just tore the papers up and threw them away in any case, because some of my summaries, it's practice for the exams. What that does, it trains this body to get used to stress. It trains my mind to ignore the clock, because I'm in any case done before the clock. So what I used to do, just to freak out my students when I still had a tutoring company, I would sit across them before their exams and literally be doing this the whole time while they're practicing. After about 2 minutes, it gets a little bit irritating. And I would be like, so stop it, you're making me nervous. Yes, you're supposed to be nervous, because that's what's happening in your mind. Now, if you don't train your mind to get used to that stress, you're never going to get used to that stress. That's partly why you guys go blank. You cannot expect to run like Usain Bolt if you don't train like Usain Bolt. If you think differently, good luck. Any athlete would tell you that. Let's just pick the time. Okay. Phase 2 is arguably the most important phase. Phase 2 of your exam starts about 12 hours before your exam starts. So if your exam starts 9 o'clock, it basically starts the previous night, 9 o'clock. You close the flippin' books. But so, ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, you are not running a sprint race like Usain Bolt. You are running a comrade's marathon. Your exam is not going to be 2.5 weeks long. Your exam coming up is about 5 to 6 weeks long. If you are not going to have healthy sleeping habits, after 2 weeks you are going to be so burnt out, there's nothing left of you. That's why you have to keep to your natural sleeping patterns. If your sleeping time is 10 o'clock at night, that's when you must go to bed. Not randomly now all of a sudden I've got to study till 2 o'clock. It's not going to help you that 4 hours extra. If your normal time of standing up on school days is 5:30, that's when you stand up. Very important before you go to bed, at least an hour before you go to bed, you switch off all cell phones, you stop all technology, and you go and do something that's relaxing. Why switching off technology? It's been proven, not by me, I'm not that clever. The blue light that this phone, any phone, emits actually tells your body it's time to wake up. And again, not proven by me. That's why Apple and all of these phone makers now have what they call automatic filters or tints at night to to try and combat the blue light, because the blue light tells your body, hey, it's time to wake up. They can't completely eliminate it, but they try to make it less. Do something that is fun. Now let's talk about the morning of the exam. What's the first rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. What's the second rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. If you don't know that movie, there's a hole in there's a gap in your education. Okay, it's a bit rough at times, but okay. The first rule about the exam, the morning of the exam, is we don't talk about the exam. The second rule of the exam is we don't talk about the exam. If you have friends, and unfortunately I do have to say more the ladies, the gents not so much, because some of the gents literally rock up and go, what are we writing today? Not all of them, but yeah. You all have that friend, or maybe you are that friend who looks at you and goes, did you remember to study this? Did you remember? Come on, did you? Look here, did you remember what we wrote down there? If you are that friend, stop being it, please. Stop it. Stop nonsense. If you know a friend like that, ladies and gentlemen, divorce them. You can marry them again after the exams, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, what that does, and I promise you, it makes you stress out about the most silly, stupid 2 or 3 mark question that was probably not even in the exam. Now the problem is, let's talk about stress for a moment, because you are going to go into a world that's high stress. Your brain is literally, I'm not joking, like a taxi. How many of you are very familiar with riding in a taxi? If that taxi has got certain places where it stops, are you going to convince the taxi to not stop there? You're just along for the ride. If he stops for an hour, you stop for the hour, right? Ladies and gentlemen, take your hand, close your thumb, close your hand. That is your brain. This part, listen to me quickly, grade 12s. This part of your hand, of your arm, is your spinal cord. When you see something, when you hear something, when you taste, when you smell, when you feel something, it travels up the spinal cord. If it travels up the spinal cord, there's a small little part called the primal brain. It is the amygdala, if I'm not mistaken. Life sciences, you can... It's the amygdala, right? Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, it's called the reptile brain. Please listen to me now. Even if you're not life sciences, this is going to help you a lot to understand why you do certain things. That little part is called the reptile part because it is formed first and it doesn't think. All it does is it takes external stimuli and see whether it is dangerous for you or not. So when you stress, which is what you do in exams, it hits that part first. If your brain sees it as a threat, you can't think. Then the taxi stops. The problem is, where does mathematical reasoning take place? Not here, but up here. In the top part of your brain. The problem is if you don't learn how to handle stress, or you stress yourself out, ladies and gents, you are dumbed down by up to 40%. So you have to learn to, number one, how do I avoid stressful situations and how do I handle them? That's why I spoke about box breathing. Now let's get to the most important part of the exam. The first 10 minutes of your exam. The sleep time, I mean reading time. Sorry, Freudian slip. The reading time is the most important part of your exam. In that 10 minutes, you don't just read through the question paper like most of you do, or in that 10 minutes, you plan out your whole exam. You classify your exam. Someone said it the other day and I actually like it. Green, orange, red. Easy, medium, what the hell. You don't start with question 1. You start with the easiest question in the paper for you. If it's not a fill-in question, don't stress. Write big at the top, question 1, and you do all of question 1. Or if it's question 5, all of question 5. Then you go over to the medium difficulty questions, which are the ones you're like, I know what I'm doing, but I've got to think a little bit. Then you go over to the what the hell kind of questions. Government schools, guys, this is especially for you. Because every single question has got all 3 levels in every question. All questions are like level 1, level 2, level 3. What the hell was this guy thinking? IEB is much easier. We've got section A and section B. Very nice. Why am I saying this to you, government school kids? Because if you are not careful and you don't identify the green, orange, and red, there's a big chance you can get stuck on the last part of question 1 for half an hour and run out of time at the end. So you go through that paper and you mentally, because you can't write, that question I've got to avoid, that one, and that one. I'll come back to them later on. So that you don't get stuck and they go like 5 minutes left. You're like, oh flip, I've got the whole question to do. Yeah, you've experienced that one, my man. Yeah, we all, I've had that one. 2 reasons why I want to encourage you to take this into university. Matric and university. Ladies and gents, number 1, it calms you down. If question 1 is really tough, and you start there, you already start going, oh man, I'm bloody stupid. I did not study enough. What's wrong with me? Could have done so much better with my life. I could have taken that lift. Okay? Secondly, it prevents you from getting stuck halfway through a paper. So it gives you, it calms your stress, it gives you confidence, and gives you extra time at the end of your paper. Because the scary thing is about maths, if I train myself to do 1 mark per minute, I'll have half an hour at the end of my question paper left. Wouldn't that be nice? But because we don't train ourselves, we get stuck halfway where we shouldn't, and then we have to rush through everything else. I've been there. As I said, but my first thing, what was the first thing I said? Either you are going to learn from other people's mistakes, or you're going to be the other people. I was part of that other people, okay? So I'm hoping that what I'm saying is going to prevent you guys from falling into that trap. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end off with one little bit of wisdom that you must always keep in mind. Every single thing you're going into, and there's a big scary world out there. From end of matric, every single decision, every place your life goes to is on you. Take charge of it. You can blame your parents. You can blame society. You can blame the government. You can blame whoever. You can blame your teachers. But remember, one day when you retire, they're not going to be sitting next to you and patting you on the back and go, that was awesome. You, ladies and gents, are going to sit there on your own little stoop, or big stoop, hopefully watching over the sea or over the bushveld or somewhere in Italy. And you are going to have to take responsibility for the good, the bad, the ugly that happened in your life. So please, take that responsibility. Do not respond, or do not, let me say this, do not be careful of reaction instead of response. And that's my last little bit. What is the difference between reaction and respond? Let me share a story out of my own life. And then I'm done for today. I applied at a school, a very prominent school in South Africa. I'd meet the maths HOD half a year later. They didn't even come back to me. Guess what they told me? We didn't even look at your CV because you're white. Racism, right? Yeah? It's racism. But so it can't be, it's racism. It's alright. It's called a spade a spade. Reaction from my side would have meant, what? This is racist. This is not fair. Man, how can you do that? That's not ethical. That's not morally correct. How dare you tell, don't look at someone's CV because of their race. Response from my side. The guy is at a boys' school, all boys' school. I look at him and I'm like, okay, I understand. You need black teachers in your school because 95% of those teachers at those schools are white and they've got 50% black kids. I understand the culture, I understand everything. It's alright, don't stress. Don't stress at all. What was the consequence? That guy, who's one of the top mathematics teachers in South Africa, comes to me and says, next time you go and you apply for a job, put me up as a reference on your CV. Up to this day, that guy, if I go for any job, is a reference on my CV that anybody can call and say, whoa, this guy, okay, wow. The difference between react and respond. I encourage you, grade 12s, take charge of your life going forward. There's a lot of beautiful things coming, but it's only going to come if you take charge. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a privilege. Time went by so quickly. I wish we had another 4 hours of maths today.